heart and soul of the game is at the Boxing Voice. Ain't no other site in the game could see the Boxing Voice.
Shawn Zittel, the Boxing Voice, here with strength and conditioning coach of the former champion of the world at welterweight, Shawn Showtime Porter. What's going on, Coach Wade, Coach Larry Wade?
Hey, how are you? Great to be here.
Hey, man, you guys have been in camp now for a few weeks for Adrien Broner. The big thing around this fight is that Shawn has to come down to 144 pounds. It's a catchweight fight, so you play an even more integral part of this fight than usual. Is this a big challenge, getting Shawn down to 144 where you could be as effective as ever?
Well, the true difference in this situation is I don't play any more part than I did before because we don't even look at that as being a challenge. You know, when we step out there and camp started, Kenny Porter tells us what he wants and how he expects us to do or accomplish what he wants to accomplish. I just follow the guidelines. He'll say he wants X, Y, and Z, and I give him X, Y, and Z. But for us thus far, we haven't had any problems, so I don't look at it being an issue at all.
Just the worries come from Shawn's fans and supporters is that he's even fought at 154 and knocked guys out before, and that's what makes him so tough at 47 is that he's so strong. And 3 pounds we've seen in boxing can really make a big difference. How will this not affect Shawn come fight night?
Well, Shawn is not what I consider to be the typical athlete. I've said this a million times, whether it was on interviews with you or other interviews. Right. Shawn is a phenomenal athlete and an outstanding boxer. So some of the things that Shawn can do athletically are purely amazing. So I know for a fact that Shawn's not going to lose any power from 44 to 47, 54, wherever you want to take it to. Shawn Porter is still going to be able to throw very hard, powerful punches. I've experienced it myself in camp, so I know for a fact it's not going to affect him at all.
Now, you know, another thing that you've always talked about with Shawn, and we've talked about this in the past, is that he's also a year-round athlete. Right after the Kell Brook fight, he was in the gym about a week or two after, you know, so he's almost 365 with it. Adrien Broner, on the other hand, there's been controversy with him being in the clubs or just, you know, partying, living life up. Can that hurt Adrien Broner? Is that an advantage for Shawn heading into June 20th?
Well, it's a disadvantage for anyone, not just Adrien Broner. You have to have a certain life, a certain lifestyle to be professional at what you do. And even though it may not show up initially, those chinks are always there, and they usually don't show up until a person gets tired or later in the round. So I expect to see it at some point as a strength and conditioning coach. I know that Broner's a competitor, but I also know Shawn Porter is as well. So I know all the training we've done up to this far is going to allow him to do the things he needs to do. And at the end of the day, Shawn Porter is going to do what Shawn Porter likes to do, and that's hit people very hard.
I'm sure you've seen Adrien fight on a good number of occasions, and he's been up and down the scales in his career. He's fought all the way from 130 to 135 to 147 and now to 140. Now at 144, do you think that's where Adrien can be at his most effective, or is this weight more optimal for Shawn?
Well, I don't really speak on Adrien and what his camp thinks and what they feel. I'm sure they feel like we feel no matter what weight he goes to, he feels like he can do well. For Shawn Porter, I definitely feel that way. If we decided to take the fight at 144, it's because we came in with a certain level of confidence that we can get the job done. So 144 for us isn't really an issue, whether it's 44 or 47. I know the public might want to make it something special, but for us it's just another fight, and we're going to go doing what we do. We train to win, and we're going to do that.
It sounds like business as usual pretty much from when I'm talking to you. But is anything going to be different about this camp? Is focus any different than heading into last fight in March?
Well, there has been a change in camp as far as the focus and the game plan. I can't reveal that to you because everybody else will be able to know as well. But the one thing for sure, the level of professionalism hasn't changed. Like you said, Shawn is a 365-day-a-year athlete. That hasn't changed. He's still competing and training at the highest level. So that's what we're expecting to do, and that's what we expect to get out of it.
And, you know, just finishing up, I wanted to talk about Mayweather Pacquiao because, you know, it's still relatively fresh in everyone's minds. You know a lot about the human body as regards to athletics. Pacquiao talks about his shoulder injury. I'm sure you have a general, you know a little something about that, of course. Could he have thrown the kind of combinations he threw when he had Mayweather hurt if he really did have a shoulder tear, the one he's talking about? Is that injury probably legitimate?
It's very likely that the injury is legitimate. I mean, he's an athlete, and I don't mean an athlete at the highest level. So his competitive spirit, his will to compete, will allow you to do some supernatural type things if you're trying to win that fight. And so it's very possible that he was injured and still threw those types of punches. But as far as what everybody expected out of the fight and the disappointment in which the whole society seems to have, I didn't have, because the fight kind of went as what I expected. They fought the type of fight that I expected to see. Mayweather fought the fight that he generally fights. He's one of those guys who hits and doesn't want to get hit, and he moves, and he's very well, versed in that. So that being said, I got what I thought I was going to see. So I didn't feel disappointed. As a matter of fact, I saw the fight twice just to make sure I was looking at what I was looking at. Right. So
and finishing up, so in your opinion, that disappointment from the masses, it wasn't justified. They were being a little too harsh on the fight itself and Floyd's performance, you think?
Oh, I definitely think so. I think the media hyped it up extremely to be this supernatural type of fight. I don't know if they expected to see cartoon-type behavior during the fight, but, with all the hype, I know they went into thinking it was going to be a bloodbath and everybody's going to walk out and they're going to see this phenomenal fight and people are going to be crawling out. Right. Well, no, what you saw was a technician. You saw somebody go in there, fight the type of fight he's been fighting for almost a decade now, and do what he does best. So I wasn't disappointed at all. I got exactly what I expected.
And it was conclusive, thankfully.
Yes, it was. Mayweather walked away the victor in that situation, and that's the way it should have happened.
Hey, thanks a lot, Coach Wade. Looking forward to seeing this workout and can't wait for June 20th. Thanks a lot.